Welcome to Yoga with Katie. Today I thought we would do a modified version of Ashtanga Yoga, a short form, so to speak. So this is like a beginner version, an intro into Ashtanga. Now Ashtanga is translated to Ashta, which is 8. Anga is limb, and then yoga means union. So it is an 8-limbed yoga practice. It was derived from Patanjali, who is the author of the Yoga Sutras. And it's the idea of like a tree, a growing tree. So you have the 8 limbs. Now, I'm not going to read them off to you today, but this practice actually came from a system of Patabi Joyce, and his own teacher created and founded this style of yoga. So we're going to do a little bit today. The book I'm using is Ashtanga Yoga by David Swenson, and it has all this information about Ashtanga. And then at the very, very back, he has what's called short form. So we're going to do one of those today, just to get an idea of what Ashtanga is and if we care about practicing a little bit more. So we're going to start standing at the top of the mat. And let me get my notes correct. We're going to start standing, and go ahead and take your feet hip width distance. Lift those toes up nice and tall, spread them really wide, and then starting with the pinky toe, drop them back down to the earth. Maybe rock forward and back, side to side. You're feeling all 4 corners of the feet pressing into the mat. Long tailbone, tall through the top of the head. Let's roll our shoulders back 3 times. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, drop them back and down. Again, inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, back and down. Pause here. Fingertips are stretching towards the floor, palms forward, almost as if you have your light shining from your palms. One of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga is pranayama, and that is controlled breathing, this controlled breath, where we inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose, but it's very vocal. Sounds like this. Almost as if you're creating this ocean, this wave. If you have trouble, imagine you're going to fog up a little mirror or a window. It's that same idea, but your mouth is closed. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. We're going to move into what's called a sudden salutation, which is a little vinyasa flow. When you're ready to blink those eyes open, inhale, sweep those hands up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Hands reach for the floor, drop the head. The weight is in the toes. Inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine. So we're thinking flat back, long line from the tailbone out through the top of the head. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into a plank. Option to modify with knees down. And we'll exhale, chaturanga. Squeeze those elbows into the body. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Option for cobra, knees are down. Up dog, knees are up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and tuck the toes, send your hips up towards the sky. Option to bend the knees here, that's okay. We're driving the heels towards the floor. Pressing the entire palm into the mat, specifically your pointer finger and your thumb. Shoulders are down the back as well. Most of the weight is in the feet as best you can. Inhale, look forward, stepping forward, feet to the hands. Inhale, half lift, lengthen that spine once more. Exhale, forward fold. Now to stand up safely, we're going to bend the knees and activate our outer hips. You're going to imagine you're ripping your mat in half with your feet. That'll activate these muscles, protect your lower back. Flat back, stand up tall, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Wonderful, let's do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to your plank, option for knees up or down, chaturanga. Knees up or down again, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath here. Inhale, look forward, step forward. Lengthen that spine, half lift. Exhale, plant the palms. Let's protect that lower back, bend the knees. Activate, reverse swan dive, come back up. Hands to heart center. Wonderful, let's do it one more time before we move on. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, that's your half lift. Plant the palms, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, that's your upward facing. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, that's your downward facing dog. Look forward, option to step or jump this time. Wonderful, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend the knees, activate those hips, reverse swan dive, stand up tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Wonderful, let's try our sun salutation, series B. We're gonna send the hips back, arms up to the sky, chair pose. Option for hands apart or more traditional Ashtanga, palms are together, looking up at your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Plant the hands, step back, chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Wonderful. Taking your right foot, squeeze it knee to nose, stepping that foot forward. You're going to pivot your back heel down. Inhale, arms come up. Again, option for the palms to touch. Exhale, hands to the floor. Let's do a little vinyasa. Step back to your plank, chaturanga. Building up some heat here. Inhale. Exhale, send those hips back, down dog. Left leg gets a turn. Squeeze that knee to your nose, just so you can step it through. Pivot your back heel down just a little bit. Inhale up, Virabhadrasana 1. Being mindful of this back knee here. If you feel like you need to open your hips a little bit more, that's fine. But otherwise, we're thinking hip points to the front of the room. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, plank. Chaturanga is the exhale. Upward facing inhale. Downward facing dog. Look forward, step or jump forward. Half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Chair pose, hips are back, arms are up, sitting tall. Press into the feet, stand all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Wonderful, let's do that one more time. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Uttanasana, forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Plant the palms, step, option to jump back if you feel comfortable. Chaturanga. Urdhva Mukha, upward facing. Adho Mukha, downward facing. Taking your right knee to the nose, just so you can squeeze in tight, step your foot through. Pivot your back heel down, inhale tall, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, come right back down. Step back plank, chaturanga. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, hips up. And back, being mindful of your hands here. Nice strong wrists. Left leg gets a turn, squeeze that knee in, step it forward. Back heel down, inhale tall. Exhale, right back down. Stepping back, vinyasa. So we're going to be doing these vinyasas all throughout the practice. Continuing to keep the heat, building in the body. You have the option to skip them if you need it. Look forward, step or jump forward. half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, stand up tall, hands to heart center, Tadasana. Wonderful. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Plant the palms, step or jump back, Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Awesome. So now we're going to try to sit down from down dog. Option number 1 is looking forward, stepping forward, finding a squat, maybe catching yourself with your hands behind you to have a seat. Another option is we're looking forward, maybe jumping our feet forward and crossing those ankles and wiggling forward between our hands to have a seat. To eventually, our goal is to jump all the way through our hands and hover. We're looking forward, squeeze it tight, swing your legs through, have a seat. Wherever you are, let's pull our booty flush back behind us so your sit bones are pressing into the floor. Option 1 is just sitting here nice and tall. Legs are active, so your heels are pressing into the floor. Toes are flexing back towards the face. If you'd like to go deeper, you're going to hinge at the hips, reaching forward. Eventually, maybe grabbing the feet, bending the elbows. Our drishti, that's another word for our focus point. We're looking at our big toes. Breathing. Maybe try that pranayama, that active, very vocal breath. The next time you inhale, sit up tall. Cross the ankles, planting the hands, either just rocking and stepping back or jumping back to your chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Let's practice jumping through again. Option to spread your hands wider if you need the space. Looking forward, lift onto those tippy toes, maybe walk, maybe a little half jump, maybe swinging all the way through, have a seat. Cool, go ahead and take your right foot and cross it over the left. We're gonna go for a twist here. So taking your right hand behind you, reach that left arm up to the sky to make some space. Option to scoop and kind of swoop the belly over if you need that. And option 1 is just grabbing the knee here and twisting. Option 2 is hooking the elbow to twist. Now this hand behind you is acting as a second spine, lifting tall, long lower back. If you feel really good and you have the mobility in your shoulders, you're going to turn your thumb down and have a little half bind. I like to put my arm through the leg, a little cheat around here. And then this other hand catches behind you. So it looks like this. Wherever you are, we're breathing. Inhale, think tall. Exhale, think twist. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Wonderful. We're going to switch directly to the left side. So release that shape. Making sure your booty flesh is still behind you. Now our left foot crosses over the right leg. Left hand behind, right arm up. Make that space, big reach. Option to just hug the knee in. Option 2, hook the elbow. Option 3, go for a bind. Whatever shape you've chosen, we're still thinking tall through the spine, reaching from the tailbone out through the top of the head. Because we are in a twist, we're thinking bigger inhales and exhales. Really inhale, expand the lungs. We're thinking tall, tall, tall. Exhale is twisting. We're wringing out the spine. This leg that is long is still active, so toes are flexed. You're pressing that leg into the floor. One more breath. Inhale, tall. Exhale, release the twist. Let's do our little vinyasa in between the pose. So rock back, cross the ankles, plant the hands, step or jump back, plank to chaturanga. upward facing or cobras, knees down, that option is still there. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. We're going to jump through again to have a seat. When you're ready, look forward, either walk, jump, or float. Taking those legs out in front of you, let's do Navasana. That's our boat pose. So option 1 is just heels on the floor, grabbing that hamstring, pulling the heart forward. Option 2 is taking the feet to a hover. We're still thinking long through the lower back, tall through the top of the head. Option 3 is to release the hands. Option 4, kick the legs up really tall. Pause here. Last big breath in. Exhale, let's come out of the shape. Vinyasa, cross the ankles, plant the hands, knowing you also have the option to skip it. Take a little rest. Our next shape is a back bend. So I'll give you some variations for your back bend. When you're ready, find your seat once more. And you're gonna lay all the way down on the spine. Option 1 is just bridge pose. So we're thinking heels in line with the hips. Knees are also in line with the hips. You've got 2 little parallel mountains. Press your lower back into the floor, core turns on. Keep that activation, roll the hips up to the sky. Option 1 for your hands is just grabbing your mat and rip it apart. That gives you some space to tuck your shoulders underneath you. If you feel comfortable clasping the hands, great, go from there. If you'd like to go one step farther, maybe you just take your hands like you're serving a tray of pizza and smash that pizza into the floor. Still squeezing the elbows into the body. Having some space here in the neck. We're not crunching the neck too much. Option number 3 is wheel pose, where you press into the hands, lift the shoulders, head off of the floor. 2 more breaths. If you feel really good and you want to go on your tippy toes, great, go from there. To come out of the shape, we tuck the chin. Plant the heels if they were lifted though first. Lower the head, shoulders, spine, rolls down till eventually your hips reach the floor. Pause for a breath. Wonderful. We're going to sit up here. So we're going to grab the legs, rock and roll on the spine for 3, 2, last one, we're just sitting up. We're going to do our forward fold again just to reverse the back bend. So scoot those hips back so your legs have room. Again, option 1 is just sitting tall, pulling that booty flesh behind you. Legs are active. Option 2, walking those hands forward. Option 3, we're really hinging at the hips, bowing down. 3 breaths. 2. And 1, sitting up tall. Let's do one more vinyasa while we're here. Option to skip it if you'd like. Plant the hands, step, jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. Last time, jumping, stepping, floating through. This time we're going to do a hip opener. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Option 1 is just this butterfly pose. We're going to be grabbing the ankles. That gives us leverage to pull the heart forward, squeeze the elbows into the body. If this is enough for you, stay here. If you'd like to go deeper, maybe you hinge at the hips, bow. Our second option, if lotus is in your practice, you're going to take one leg. I like to find some external rotation first, and then get that knife edge of the foot into your hip crease. Same thing with this one, externally rotate. Foot goes right into that hip crease. And then we're just going to start sitting tall here. If you'd like to hinge forward, you can. Find where it's comfortable for your hands in lotus. There's lots of different options. 2 more breaths. If you're trying lotus today, please be mindful of your knees. Any pinching in the knees, go ahead and come out of it. Another trick is to activate the knees. So you're engaging the quads, really squeezing in the kneecaps. When you inhale, sit up tall. Kindly and mindfully come out of your shape. And we're going to lay onto our spine for our final resting pose, Savasana, also known as corpse pose. Shoulders are tucked underneath you. Legs are externally rotated but relaxed. Traditionally, palms are up, but if you like palms down or resting on the body, great, go for that. When you're ready, big inhale. Controlled exhale. Soften the face. Soften the jaw, maybe so much so that your teeth separate. Maybe your lips part. What does it feel like for the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth? Let's focus our attention inward. And that could mean lots of different things. That could be noticing the heart rate. Maybe paying attention to the breath, how fast or slow it is. Maybe even thinking about sensations in the body. How does the breath feel at the tip of your nose? And if you notice your mind begin to wander outside of the body, that's okay, that's going to happen. Almost like a leaf floating along a river, just let it pass you and bring those thoughts and ideas back into the body. We're here for 5 more slow breaths. I encourage you to rest here as long as you need. If you are ready to reawaken, you start with the little movements that start to feel good to you. It could be scratching your itch, maybe just moistening the lips and swallowing, maybe wiggling fingers and toes or rocking the head. Until those motions get bigger and bigger. If you're ready for that full body stretch, be mindful of things around you. Arms reach up to the sky, pointing those toes in front of you. Maybe hugging the knees into the chest. I like to rock side to side, give that lower back a little massage. Maybe you roll onto the right side, pausing in the fetal position, using your right arm as a pillow. When you're ready, you press into the palms to sit up, meeting me in Sukhasana. That's our easy seated pose, cross-legged, hands in prayer fashion at the center of the heart. Today I'd like to read off our closing chant for Ashtanga. There is an opening chant that I kind of skipped over. But in Sanskrit, it goes like this. Svasti prajabhyaha paripalayantam nyayena morgena mahim mahishaha go brahmnehebhyaha shubhamastu nityam lokaha samastaha Sukino bhavantu. Translated, that means, may all be well with mankind. May the leaders of the earth protect in every way by keeping to the right path. May there be goodness for those who know the earth to be sacred. May all the worlds be happy. option to share one round of Om with me. We inhale to prepare. Exhale fully. Inhale to recite. Open that mouth. Please glide your thumbs to touch at the third eye as a reminder to have an open and receptive mind. Thumbs down to the lips as a reminder to have kind words. Lastly, thumbs to the heart as a reminder to have a truthful heart. Thank you for trying a new practice with me today. The light in me bows to the light within you. Namaste.